video is a tutorial about the guitar solo in an old song from my old band, Popstar Kids. The song is called Black Days, Techno Nights, and it was the first song off our third album, The Revenge of Popstar Kids. And the last tutorial I did was for the guitar solo in Shock My Blood, which is sort of like an F-sharp mixolydian, and it kind of made me think of this tune because it's the same key and it has some similar stuff going on in it, but definitely a few new wrinkles, or old wrinkles. And you know, I've had people ask me about this solo before, and I think it's a fun one to discuss. It's pretty succinct, and it's got some challenging stuff in it. So the first thing I do is one of the hardest things to do, probably in the solo, it might be the hardest thing, is this descending dominant 7 arpeggio that starts with a pinky slide. So harmonically there's not much to it, it's just a dominant 7 arpeggio in F sharp, but the first thing we're doing is sliding from an A sharp to a B and back down, pulling off to an F sharp, and then we're hitting an E on the B string, and then going straight to the G string for 2 notes, C sharp and A sharp or B flat, whatever you want to call it. 2 notes on the D string, which is F sharp to E, 1 note on the A string, C sharp, and then an A sharp on the E string, which we pull off to an open to E. So it takes a lot of control to play that without rushing it. That's about what the tempo is. And then we had this sort of, just a sort of a playful little sounding thing. From F sharp to G sharp, and we pull off to E again, and then some harmonics on the E string. So that's what is that? The 5th, the 4th, and the 3rd, which is a sort of an E major arpeggio right there. Then we're going to climb up to the middle of the neck and do some kind of ascending mixolydian stuff, which I'll show you in a second. So it's not too hard. So we're kind of staying really true to the mixolydian scale. Probably the trickiest thing is to do that bar with your 3rd finger. And then the rest of it's cake. Just sliding up to a C sharp, and then an E, and an F sharp, and a G sharp. Okay, so on to the next part of the solo. See, it's a lot of sort of cycling around the same notes there. Fretting wise, we're mainly dealing with this this range between the 19th and the 11th and the 14th on the B string, and then the same thing on the D string. And at the end of the whole thing, we're starting on the B string and just sort of doing this little slur. So kind of starting with the middle note there, and then we're jumping down to the D string and doing 2 pull-offs there. And then we're gonna ping-pong right off this note on the E string 12th fret, which is another string skip. So you have to get used to the string skipping. Then we're just climbing straight back up the same notes, same 6 notes that we just walked down. So now I'm doing this real fancy number here with my pinky, and I'm barring on the 14th fret. And I'm going to cycle those notes for a couple of times. So and then finally, the end of this phrase, I'm going to bar with my first finger on the 9th fret and grab this note on the 9th fret of the high E string. And then we're going to do the same flurry that we started with. But this time we're going to drag that note down to the 9th fret. So, the second half of that little section there. But yeah, so you need to be able to bar with both fingers here, your pinky and your first finger, and still be able to do this stretch. Okay, and now we're home free because the last phrase is really easy. We're going to slide all the way up to the 16th fret of the D string, which is an F sharp, and then we're going to play a couple of notes on the G string with a hammer-on pull-off, and that's on the what is that, 15th and 16th. We're going to go back to the F sharp note on the D string, go back to the 15th fret on the G string, which is an A sharp. We're going to pull on it this time, which is kind of a little finessey thing that actually makes a lot of difference in the phrase. Because I'm pulling it enough to where it's, I'm bending it up to the next note. That's a pretty easy thing to play, right? And then 2 notes on the B string, which is 14 and 16. And if we're lucky, we bend it up a step and a half to an F sharp. So on the recording, if you notice at the beginning of the video, that last note of the solo goes into the stratosphere. With the help of a really quirky effect pedal I was using at the time called the PV Stereo Effects Processor. I found it used in a store in Pennsylvania. And it was some odd little thing, artifact of the early 80s. And it sort of had this wild oscillating cycle if you turn the knobs all the way up. And my favorite thing about the pedal was it was really chaotic, so when you turned it on, you never knew where it was going to end, where in the cycle it was going to be. I just happened to be able to hit it on both takes of that solo, which the solo's doubled, so I played it twice, recorded it twice. Both takes, I happened to hit the pedal when it was right on an upswing, so it took that note way past an F sharp. It took it up to dog whistle territory. So, geez, I guess that's the end of the solo. I'm a little sad. I think I'm going to miss it. See you next time.